Hey everyone, welcome to the MatMadik PCA channel. Just bringing you a quick dose of news of the Stellar Blade controversy that's just doing the rounds at the moment. I kind of decided to go back a bit in the story as it sits in the news and talk about a YouTuber called Hypnotic and his take on the matter. Pretty interesting take, I gotta say. I'd have to say I agree with them, but I wanted to share it with you and see if you had the same insights that I got from this man upon just having a reaction to his reaction. Okay, without further ado, let's check it out. Let's go back to the beginning. Excuse me. Here we go.
So you know what's one thing that I genuinely enjoy when it comes to this kind of backlash that's happening with Sony, Shift Up, Helldivers, all this nonsense happening right now is the fact that it's got people so on edge. It has people so ready to go on the attack that it seems like these companies literally can't walk at all without getting called out for some nonsense that they're doing, essentially walking on eggshells. And I feel like that's better for the consumer overall, because if the companies have to basically walk on eggshells, they will make sure that they do everything they can to try to button up all this nonsense that they would have otherwise let loose if they weren't constantly being called out for their BS.
Yes, it's right off the bat. You got the irony just right in your face when it comes to the suits trembling behind the or in there, so I should say, their boots. Just when they have the excuse me, everybody. Sorry, just stealing me something. Yeah, when they have the uproar of the crowd just all at the back of their necks. These behemoths, in this case Sony, which of course is behind a lot of this controversy going on, being pressured by the woke brigade, if you will, just pushing people into this experience that they don't want to have, but people are not into with regards to what this title has come to mean for people. Finally, it's like a piece that you can just enjoy without having to just gobble down. Well, not gobble down, but it'll be forced to have the woke agenda just pushed down your throats again. Rather, we can say hey, this is a piece that we can just begin to return to normalcy with. But no, this company's trying to Bud Light it, please both sides, winding up everybody. And lo and behold, thankfully, people on the let's just get back to normalcy side of the aisle are just getting used to raising their voices and vote with their dollars. You see, the people who like to cancel, they like to wreck people's lives and so on. But us normal people, we don't do that. We just unsubscribe to what we're not interested in. And finally, these votes with our dollars are reaching the dizzy heights of Sony, if you will. Anyways, keep going.
I'm doing my part too.
Alright, Hypnotoad. Let's get on to business.
Now, what am I talking about? Well, apparently we have an article here from Fandom Pulse, and there's also a tweet that I have that I'm going to showcase. But it says from Fandom Pulse, internal strife at Shift Up, Stellar Blade flirtation with Kotaku cut short when Grums called them out. Now, you guys already know that Stellar Blade's official account, or I guess it's an official account. I don't really know. It's a blue check mark, but everybody keeps saying that's the official account. Apparently, they retweeted something a day or two ago from Kotaku, and this retweet was essentially them talking about how Eve is hotter when she's not revealing anything. Yes, Kotaku decided to put out this absolutely stupid article like they always do, and I didn't do a video on it because I'm tired of just talking about Kotaku and giving them clicks. I want to kind of branch, so chat a little bit,
people.
but I will talk about.
Hold on, before we get into that, I don't know what that glitch was about. Yeah, so now, though we're dealing with Kotaku right now, these gaming journalists, one YouTuber I really loved, man, and I still love this dude, but I understand he's probably going through some, which he's made public, by the way, so I'm not trying to out the guy, medical issues with his health that had caused him to take a break from YouTube. I just hope he gets well and visits us one more time with his graceful takes on things. This dude's called Guru Larry. I imagine one or two people out there have bumped heads with the guy at some point and have issues. But when it comes to good old entertainment, there's nothing like that, dude. Anyway, you talk about how games journalists would not, of course, be journalists, but would just try and appease some sort of higher up entity and excuse me, claim that they're representing the public with their findings, but essentially just pushing an agenda, winding people up. And in this case, when it comes to the good old Stellar Blade, bringing back the glorious, busty brilliance of the Lara Croft characters out there of old in a new form, it seems to be an issue. To the point where they're trying to gaslight people into thinking that, no, you actually want them to be clothed in the hijab and all that. Anyway, not necessarily going that far, but that being said, what's funniest about this whole ordeal is that when it comes to this woke brigade, that people, me and my channel, I'm quite on the right at the moment, but ultimately my aim is to just come back to normalcy. I lean right now to redress the balance that is default pushing left so darn hard that things don't make sense. And the only way to right this ship is to lean to the other side to get balance in the middle. Anyway, these woke people, of course, they are intent on trying to ruin the West, ruin civilization, and turn the world on its head, push certain orientations out there that, let's just say, are not fruitful in the name of being stunning and brave, all the way to the point where when it comes to, all right, well, whilst you're promoting the busty physique, as long as it's with a person who would naturally not have had that, i.e. who's been put under surgery to achieve this physique, when it comes to good old natural busty brilliance, that's a problem. It makes you realize that you're dealing with a bunch of demons who are just trying to wreck people's lives through inverting all of God's natural order, if you will. That's the way I'd put it. But let me know what you think. Anyways, keep
them
going.
indirectly, because I already know based off that headline what kind of nonsense is in that article. But yes, apparently they put out an article saying that Eve is at her hottest when she's clothed, of course, and the actual Stellar Blade account retweeted it, and a lot of people were saying, is this basically you admitting that they censored the game? And then Grums ended up calling him out, and that's already when it went crazy from there. So let's get into this article, guys, from Phantom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And
Likewise, people, of course, I encourage you to subscribe to Hypnotic first and foremost, because this is the material that I'm promoting through this response or reaction. But I would I'd actually kindly request that you subscribe and like and follow this channel too, or share this video also if you're that way inclined. Anyway, let's continue.
Video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says Stellar Blade's flirtation with Kotaku was cut short when Grums called them out, but does their folly point to an internal strife? Sensation seekers at Kotaku, the sleaze rag posing as a gaming magazine that employs failed cam girls, couldn't contain their glee at the censorship of Eve in Stellar Blade and dedicated an article to the game titled Stellar Blade's Eve is hottest when she's not revealing anything. In what gamers believe was a traitorous and insulting move, the Stellar Blade Twitter account reposted the Kotaku post that contained the article. Ex-user Packergirl, shout out to Packergirl, picked up on Stellar Blade's repost of Kotaku's post, asking, did Stellar Blade just admit that the day one patch censored costumes, or is this just a coincidence? Game developer and former team lead OG of World of Warcraft and producer at Diablo 2 and StarCraft, Mark Kern, called out the Stellar Blade account manager's flirtation with sleaze rag Kotaku. Community manager for Stellar Blade retweets Kotaku on outfit censorship justification. Helldivers 2 community manager says, hold my beer. Really, these community managers are both terrible at their jobs. They are competing for worst crisis management in gaming. Now,
all right, well, there you go. I just love the diatribes and vitriol levied back against these gaslighters in the first place. Again, the word gaslighting. This term gaslighting that had been popularized over the past few years in the midst of this political culture war that had been foisted upon us all in the name of securing democratic elections and so on. Through all the 2020 Trump-Biden business, what you're dealing with here is a great opportunity to learn how the media works, and these actors that are claiming to be journalists, but of course are just propagandists. And we're learning what terms like gaslighting mean. This is why I brought this up, which actually came from a play called Gaslight, where a husband actually would fiddle with a gaslight to try and trick his wife into feeling that she was losing her mind. But that being said, these hackneyed and hashed out routines are not only ineffective, now we're onto them, but they're hilarious to look to consider. Sorry, when considering that we know that they know that we know. Be like as what's that man's name again? Richmond, also Richmond. I forgot his name. Oh well, one day I don't know. Oh, God bless him. Who knows? Maybe he'll be back. Oh well, the guy who wrote that song, Richmond, also Richmond. They know that we know that they know, or we know that they know that we know that we've been gaslit, and the fact that they're still trying it shows you that they're finished. This is why they're starting to fail, because that's all they have. If they had another technique, they'd try that. But anyway, let's see where this story takes us.
Listen, guys, what's happening right now, like I said earlier in the video, between Sony, Helldivers, and Stellar Blade, I'm all here for it. I'm here for it because I am tired of these corporations thinking they could get away with whatever the fuck they want to get away with, because honestly, gamers have been very complacent. And Sony is used to getting away with basically anything, because I'm gonna be real with you, and I've said this in many videos, console gamers are more likely to put up with nonsense than PC gamers, right? If there's a totem pole with who's gonna put up with the most shit versus who's gonna put up with the least, you're gonna have mobile gamers at the top of putting up with everything, console gamers somewhere in the middle, and PC gamers putting up with not that much, right? Like PC gamers usually are the first to basically do a backlash if something were to affect them versus anybody else.
That's something I didn't know, actually. I'd love to hear about it with Gamer Dan next time. But the idea that PC gamers are the ones who kick up a stink instantly, to the point where Sony would, well, we'll talk about Helldivers in another episode, but big behemoths like these would try and, again, take people's dissent for granted and try and plow over them, are finally hitting quite the roadblock. I'm looking forward to seeing where we go in our pop cultural, I would say our pop cultural foray into determining our futures more simultaneously, while AI is being seen by some as a conquering force to level the playing field. Well, actually, to level the dissenters and just plow forward with an agenda, but at the same time satisfying dissenters so that they would mindlessly just take what we're fed. But as we're finding out, as I'm happy to say, that's not how AI works. That's not what it's here to do. We are here to how to put it? We're here to pave the way, no matter what the system thinks it's got sussed of how we operate. There's always more to the story. We'll bring it to the forefront of these companies' attention when they try to disregard our dissent. Let's keep going.
It says Grums is right. It is bad enough that we have gaming journalists at sleaze rags like Kotaku who hates gamers. The last thing video game companies need are community managers who hate gamers too. This faux pas by the Stellar Blade X account manager could have costed them dearly, especially considering that Grums have called on gamers to support Stellar Blade and not boycott it. However, the Stellar Blade account deleted the repost of the Kotaku sleaze rag article soon after the faux pas was noted by Grums. It could be that the Stellar Blade account manager genuinely made a mistake, or it could be that the Stellar Blade developer ShiftUp was concerned about a backlash from gamers. Ex-user PackerGirl updated. Kotaku senior editor Alyssa Mercante confirmed Stellar Blade unretweeted the Kotaku article. Now, again, could it have been a mistake? Probably. Could it have been detrimental to them if they would have kept it up? Absolutely. So it could have been honestly either or, right? Who really knows? But all we know is that they did retweet it. and then they did delete it. Okay.
So it seems that there's a storm brewing up in the upper echelons of Stellar Blade, perhaps a mighty clash between those who respect the vision of the artist and those who would rather pander to the puritanical mob. Of course, in Kotaku, with their predictable meltdown, fanning the flames of discontent. Delicious. Or am I just, I don't know, inside too long? I wouldn't call this delicious after all. It's just a good old thinking of a plot. But that being said, hey, it's a battlefield of ideologies, a clash of wills. Only time will tell which faction shall emerge triumphant.
And again, Alyssa Mercante melting down because they deleted it is fantastic. I love to see it. And I just wish more of it would happen. But we know that Stellar Blade right now is in turmoil, not so much like Helldivers is now, but Stellar Blade is absolutely in turmoil. You have Shift Up saying they're having internal discussions with Sony. You have Arrowhead Studios saying they're having internal discussions with Sony. Both of these companies are going at Sony right now for different reasons, and you love to see it. So then it says it's hard to give Stellar Blade community manager the benefit of the doubt and ascribe this faux pas to a genuine mistake on his or her part. No community manager of any game, let alone the community manager of Stellar Blade, is unaware of the Stellar Blade censorship debacle and Kotaku's pro-censorship stance. That leaves only two possibilities. Either game developer Shift Up is pro-censorship, or the community manager went rogue, which could point to an internal striving at Shift Up. Now,
So an error or calculated move or a rogue agent of chaos within the ranks? Well, possibilities, eh? Well, perhaps I don't know, a naive intern caught in the crossfire. I don't know, perhaps a bold statement of defiance, a subtle middle finger to the senses. Hey, maybe, just maybe, there's a deep rift within the Shift Up, a battle for the very soul of this creation. Well, let's savor it while it lasts.
you're right. It could be either or. I think we're looking too much into this, honestly. I think it could have just been a simple, stupid retweet that they ended up realizing, like, this might be a problem. It also could have been a little bit of a language barrier. It could have been an automated bot kind of a thing, because you have certain companies do utilize bots to do auto retweets depending on what gets said out there on the internet. So if something is hashtag with Eve or Stellar Blade, they probably are more likely to retweet it automatically, or at least take a second look at it. There might be a little bit of a language barrier there. Who really knows? But at the end of the day, man, Shift Up knows what happened. Sony knows what happened. Gamers know what happened. Now it's like, okay, where do we go from here? Are we uncensoring the game, or are we keeping it censored? Is the petition going to do something, or is it going to do nothing? Like, we need to start realizing that, after a certain point, we got to start taking action. And don't get me wrong, we are taking action. We're taking action against it with this petition. We're taking action against Helldivers with the review bombing. We're taking action against these companies, but now it's their turn to see what their response is going to be. But honestly, from my point of view, I don't really think there's going to be that great of a response. I think what's going to end up happening is that Sony's going to double down on both aspects. Sony's going to double down on the censorship of Stellar Blade, and Sony's going to double down on the PSN to Steam linking requirement for Helldivers, because at the end of the day, Sony is never going to admit that they're wrong. When's the last time Sony was forced to admit they were wrong is when they got caught being hacked, right? They even tried to deny being hacked for a couple months. Remember when that happened? They tried to deny being hacked, and then all of a sudden, after people started realizing the truth of it, and they couldn't keep denying and making excuses as to why their service was down, they had to openly admit, yep, we got hacked. So Sony will do whatever they can to not admit what's actually in people's faces. In this scenario, it's basically being proven to be wrong. They're never going to admit it. So for people out there looking for that, I don't think you're going to get that. Hopefully.
All right, people. I'll give a moment. Let's just review all that Hypnotic just brought to us. Petitions, boycotts have their place, but I guess as the man's putting before us, he's saying, let's not delude ourselves. These corporations speak the language of profit. They understand the cold calculus of the bottom line. So we must be shrewd, tactical, relentless. So he seems to be saying, and it seems that Sony will not bend the knee out of a sense of shame. Nope. Their history reveals a stubbornness and arrogance. We must squeeze them where it hurts. Expose their hypocrisy, ignite a firestorm of public opinion they can't ignore. Well, what do you think? Maybe we're just getting into it. I
We
don't know.
do, but I just don't think it's going to happen. So ultimately, I'm glad that the Stellar Blade account decided to delete the retweet so that it sent Alyssa Mercante into a meltdown. That's always a plus, and Kotaku too into a meltdown. And we're going to keep reporting on this, and hopefully we see some change within Stellar Blade and Helldivers and everything that's happening right now in gaming. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Good stuff, Hypnotic. So there you have it, people. A sweet symphony of unraveling. The unretweet victory, rather small. Well, it sent those pompous windbags, Kotaku, into a tailspin, eh? Well, the very thought of being cast aside, ignored, fills them with existential dread. Let us press disadvantage. Let's be a swarm of the voiceless. No, let's be a swarm of voices they can't silence. The battle is far from over, but these early skirmishes, they're a taste of things to come, I say. All right, people. Sorry, I'm getting into Russell Brand mode. But, let me know what you think. I personally, well, as I'm doing this video quite retroactively, I know a bit of what has happened since, but I just wanted to take you back here. Let me know what you think. Thanks again. Please like, share, and subscribe to Kotaku's original video. Not Kotaku's, oh my gosh. Hypnotic's original video, people. And, of course, if you would be willing to let me know what you think of this video too. And I'll catch you in the next one. Oops. Oopsie daisy. Peace.